This week we're in Latin America, specifically Sao Paulo, Brazil, so naturally we're going to be doing a video on Brazil. This week COP30 is taking place in Brazil, not in Sao Paulo, somewhere else. It's also not why I'm here, but why this is important, why do we care? So the COP group is the UN's working group on climate change, of which Brazil is one of the loudest drum beaters of renewable energy, mitigating the impacts of climate change, et cetera, et cetera. So really important to note where Brazil actually gets this energy from. Currently, we're talking about natural gas, which is about 13%, oil and gas derivatives. This is, of course, going to be at the top of the list. And then you see hydropower and biomass in the middle. Now, obviously, hydropower is renewable. Biomass, very questionable. This is effectively just burning firewood, so if you want to call that renewable, go right ahead. In terms of, means of powering a country, not usually the most effective way. Now, at the same time, Brazil has incredibly high interest rates. Incredibly high is very relative, but currently it's about 15%. And the reason why Brazilian interest rates are relevant to the conversation of energy, renewables, etc., is because these projects, whether you're talking about solar, whether you're talking about hydro, whether you're talking about any other, usual sources of renewable energy, particularly the ones that they're talking about, these are incredibly capital-intensive projects. So if you have a very high borrowing rate, getting those projects up and running is going to be incredibly hard. Now, the country, as we saw, runs mostly on oil and gas, and of course LNG, and also, as a side, they get most of their LNG from the United States. They import it from us, with those other sources of power falling in the middle. What you end up having is this interesting confluence of a country that is very much vocally in support of these renewable energy products, diversifying their energy supply chain, while at the same time you have an incredibly high interest rate, which means those very same projects that you are very much in support of can't actually be funded, so they probably will not materialize. It's very hard to bring online when the cost of borrowing is so high. Now, this points all to a broader point of, especially in a time of heightened geopolitical volatility, energy security for all countries, not just for Brazil, is top of mind. So these big global conferences and the supposed urgent need to switch now, regardless of the cost, human, economic, or otherwise, to renewables, kind of falls on deaf ears. It's more important governments and countries are coming to the conclusion that our populations have access to cheap and reliable energy, no matter where that source comes from, whether that's nuclear, whether that's coal, whether that's natural gas, whether that's oil. Again, this is not Brazilian specific. This is part of a broader global trend. The EU is a good example of this. They're one of the largest blocks of economies and countries that have been pushing for renewable energy or setting, really ambitious sustainability goals and targets. They have since pulled back. Obviously, the Russia-Ukraine war puts energy security top and center of the agenda of their governments. Japan, likewise, a lot of countries in Asia import a ton of LNG. Again, this is all with the idea of energy security comes first. The source really matters less. Like and subscribe for more.